Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be more educational than my other or previous videos I have made. Today we're going to be talking about Yugoslavia. So just to get things straight right now, we're not going to be talking about the wars, but today we're talking about its architecture. I'm not going to discuss I'm just gonna be discussing like the royalist Yugoslav period, or at least like the latest. The earliest. The earliest being like the 1800s. 1800s. So basically, as most people would know, or at least like people who listen to history know, that at least the countries that would become Yugoslavia were occupied by the the Ottoman Empire, and also partially Byzantine. Well, at least that region. Not at least in the 1700s before, but still. Also the Austro-Hungarian Empire, being another country that occupied more of the most of the Balkans, but like more, it didn't really go past Serbia. Like stayed right above. It stayed like right above Macedonia, but still. So their architecture at this time, some people might know, would be like it's orange or red roofs, similar to that of Mediterranean architecture, with its tiled roofs. Well, their roofs they had tiled roofs, but they were also kind of ceramic when it came to certain things. So yeah, that it is also this architecture mostly started in the Ottoman times, as we would mostly know, as the Ottomans occupied the region for a while, and they also influenced the architecture when they went there, because like that architecture first started in the Ottoman Empire. So then they moved on. When they occupied the Balkans, they influenced and brought that architecture there. The architecture, as I said, orange and red roofs. Architecture is also seen in like Roman cities and towns that that were near, where Constantinople was, or like where Greece is, like those towns that are on that line with the Aegean and the Black Sea, in that area. Those houses in those areas. I don't really want to butcher the names, so I'm not really gonna say them. Just gonna put the names up on the screen from a Reddit post I made, and somebody commented on it. I was asking about the same type of architecture it's found in like the Yugoslav states. I'm gonna give credit to that person as well when I put their name on the screen. But yes, that architecture was found in those regions when they brought that there. They brought that style there. Great examples of this style being found in ex-Yugoslav states is in just rural regions of, the ex-Yugoslav states. Except a very good example of them are in the hills of Sarajevo. If you've seen like footage of Sarajevo or pictures of Sarajevo, you would know that their houses in the hills usually have orange or red roofs in the hills of Sarajevo. Like, if you've seen footage or anything, you would know what it looks like. So I'll put a few pictures on the screen just to let you guys see the hills of Sarajevo. They're very beautiful hills, but some houses were destroyed during the siege of Sarajevo. On to our next topic. Now we are getting into more communist territory with our architecture. So now we are going to start at Brutalism, Modernism, and Post-Modernism, and other styles of architecture, along with like how apartment buildings were constructed, and what they look like, or like what are common themes of the apartment blocks in different regions of Yugoslavia. So now we are more in the modern era, more the 1960s to the 1990s. A lot of good looking apartment blocks I have seen in Yugoslavia specifically. out of the states and the republics at the time was possibly Bosnia, especially in Sarajevo. One region known as Dobrinja, or yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, which was a Serb and Bosnian region, and it was kind of split between the Republika Srpska and like the like Republic of Bosnia, like the independent state, which meant why it was possibly the most destroyed region during the entire siege of Sarajevo. There are a lot of large apartment buildings with usually sloped roofs in the apartment blocks. Very large apartment buildings reaching up to nearly 10 stories could house large amounts of people. And there were very large and very frequent apartment blocks in the region. As Dobrinja is just really just a bunch of apartment blocks, basically all put together in just like a small area, which meant a lot of housing for just people in the area. Also a few other apartment blocks that were also built were they also had this like sloped roof angle style thing. They didn't have balconies or windows on the side of them. The side of them were just wall. Yeah. And yeah, that's usually how they were built, and they had higher quality than Soviet Khrushchevkas and Brezhnevkas and other communist ways like panel buildings or panelkas. Let's move on more to its brutalism, modernism, and postmodernism. So, a lot of its brutalism that people actually still care about, because a lot of the monuments to commemorate those were killed by the Ustashi during World War II, like the Serbs, like in Jasenovac with the stone flower monument, and other monuments to commemorate those who died and were killed or who fought. Also, ones that are still good to be seen are blocks in New Beograd, which is New Belgrade, or Zagreb, New Zagreb, yeah, or Novi Beograd, New Belgrade. So there are a lot of blocks BLOK, which are very, very brutalist buildings, very great examples of brutalism, and I suggest that you go check them out, because it doesn't appear that they're going to be disappearing anytime soon due to people still living in them, and a lot of people just staying in those apartment blocks. Those apartment blocks have existed since the 70s. One good example is Rubo. That's the name, Rubo, or the Eastern City Gate, not to be confused with the Western City Gate, which is what people are slightly more familiar with, which is like the tower. It kind of looks like the Trellick Tower in the United Kingdom. But let's move on to modernism, and also postmodernism as well. First place that we're going to be talking about, and probably just the last place, is the Rainbow Hotel in Bosnia and Herzegovina in Sarajevo. It's exactly what it sounds like, but actually, it was finished the same year the war broke out, actually, and the siege of Sarajevo started. Also, the architect who worked on the building also has other works, such as the Parrot Building in Sarajevo, and yeah. Also, since it was, the building, nobody was in the building. So also the UN also used it as like a little, like the UN soldiers actually were the ones who gave it the name Rainbow Hotel, and also the local people that lived near gave it the name Disneyland due to its colorful looks. Also, it had multiple buildings. The main buildings were apartment buildings with like this slope at the roof, and they were like multicolor stocks, right? Multicolor buildings, like the rest of it. And the large building is a plaza and a residential residential office, while the main buildings are all just residential. The other building, I am not exactly sure what that part is, but I know about the other buildings as well. Since also UN soldiers used it as like a little base area for them to hang out at, which also made it a target for Bosnian Serb snipers as well, and also shelling and mortar fire to be sent their way in the area. So that is all about Yugoslav architecture. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like, subscribe, share, click the bell if you want to. So I'll see you guys in the next one.